What's up, guys? New here. How y'all doing? I know this video is a lot of anticipation, a major upheaval in the community overnight. Several Whirling Slash gamers woke up in dismay of the current state of their character and how much movement speed they had, or shall we say didn't have. Certainly, something like half of it gone overnight. Some of you might not be aware there was a hotfix that took place to Whirling Slash, and it is now been restored. That's a nice euphemism, right? Restored to its 0.2 status. Now, how do I know that? Well, you kind of just have to take my word for it, but I'll give you the proof that I can anyway in a few moments. But let's just take a brief second here to acknowledge that this is very upsetting. Any self-respecting ARPG gamer who wakes up the next day with half their movement speed gone, which is arguably the most important stat in the game, is going to be upset with the situation. Doesn't matter if it's a nerf, doesn't matter if it's a bug fix, doesn't matter what reason. It doesn't feel good, and I understand that. On a personal level, I wasn't terribly upset because I knew something was terribly off with the current state of Whirling Slash. I highlighted it in a video. The second I got Tailwind and Dance with Death, I knew something was weird, and so I figured something like this would happen. That said, as a content creator, today was pretty upsetting because it was very stressful. A lot of people in my own community not happy, understandably so. And so we spent the better part of today figuring out how to improve the state of the build. I would say it's not going so bad. This might surprise you. Looks like we're moving pretty fast again. And what really might surprise you is that the investment cost, per se, is not higher than it was. You just had to change a few things. The TLDR is using weapon swap to maximize the attack speed of Whirling Slash, and then using the other weapon set for damage, which means, yes, Hollow Palm had to go. That was the only way to make this work. Stay tuned for a later video. There is an idea that I have to bring Hollow Palm back in, but for now, the simplest fix, I present it to you today. Let's talk numbers. I want to lead you straight, okay? I don't want you to be misled, give you the proper expectations. What kind of numbers do you need in order to achieve a speed like you see here? Here it is. Attacks per second, 9.35. Attacks time, 0.1 seconds. Well, some of that is coming from Tailwind, obviously. A lot of it's coming from charge regulation with frenzy charges. That's a percent more skill speed multiplier. And a whole bunch of that is coming from the support gems. Now in 0.33 separate movement speed support gems. So that's a lot more speed than we had last league in particular. And just to put things in perspective, on my 68,000 accuracy stacking Amazon crit Huntress with a few hundred divines invested into her, in combat, her attack time, I distinctly remember this because I was very proud of it, her attack time was 0.11 seconds. That's the lowest I ever got it, not counting Headhunter buffs. And so this character, with a minimal investment in gear, with essentially almost no investment in gear in terms of speed, is actually faster than that Amazon with all that work that I put into her. Alright, I know some of you are going to get a big kick out of this. This was you guys waking up this morning. Ready? What? Okay, I'm not actually going to exit, but yeah, that was a lot of you guys today. So that's what it was like. That's what it, you logged into, and suddenly it was like that. But I show you this for an extra special reason. Check it out. Weapons swap. Wow. That's crazy. You mean you got that much speed out of just swapping your weapons? There must be a lot of tech behind that. Okay, to be fair, I'm cheating a little bit because Rigwald's wasn't working on the other weapon set, but aside from that, that was all weapon swap. Now let me show you everything that went down on stream earlier today, and this is the result of all that hard work. I know there were many of you who were spazzing out about what was going on. To be fair, we had a great stream, and people were pretty understanding of what was going on. Actually, had a lot of eyeballs because there was a lot of concern. And so I have a new setup here. The max roll guide is, of course, updated. I apologize, it's changing. This is an emergency case, though, so you know, it is what it is. Late in-game crit dual spears across the skill gems and the passive tree and the gear. You need to line all of them up. In the notes section, I have a point here where it's kind of a TLDR of what's going on. I'm not going to read it here, but that's there if you want to read it. And you'll notice I have 2 weapon sets. Where's Hollow Palm? It's gone. Okay, it's gone. It had to go. The only way to make things fast again is to do a more conventional Twister Whirling Slash build where one weapon set is focused on Whirling Slash and speed, and the other weapon set is focused on Twister. Good news for those of you who don't like pressing too many buttons, we actually effectively removed at least one button out of the build, because Ice Strike and Bell had to go, and we only basically replaced one other. So you'll notice that I have my normal damage setup with a scepter. This is going to give us 100 spirit, which evidently there's some interesting snapshotting things we can do with that. That may or may not also be a bug that may get fixed, but anyway, not anywhere near as impacting as what just went down. And it also gives us % damage as extra cold. Or extra fire, rather. Except for some reason I don't see it on here. That's weird. Okay, the real scepter actually has 20%, 25% gain is extra. Lightning. Yeah, anyway. Real weapon, and then the other one is a super fast attacking weapon. Tier 1 attack speed roll with the highest base wing spear with damage. Now, that could be a little bit expensive, and you might be annoyed at the fact that you'd have to get another rare spear. It doesn't really matter if crit's on there, by the way. I couldn't populate Onslaught on there. Onslaught would be a good idea to put on there. That's a perfect essence. So here is the workaround. Here's the immediate fix. Sky Sliver, perfectly rolled, preferably. Especially with 2 sockets, if you can. That's a bit expensive, but a high roll Sky Sliver will cover your bases there. Alright. Now, let's go over to the skill slots here. First off, you'll see that the Purity of Ice Scepter is in here. This is a crazy thing you can do with like free supports. Here's something interesting. Cannibalism Snapshots Twister. So this is active only when I'm on weapon set 2. But Cannibalism gives me life on kill. The crazy thing about Twisters is when you cast them, they snapshot everything. They snapshot the crit, they snapshot the damage, they snapshot basically everything. It might be a couple dynamic buffs, but Cannibalism will give you life on kill even after you swap back multiple times over on that original Twister cast. Pretty crazy. You know what's even more crazy? So does Herald of Ice. And so does Combat Frenzy. I verified. If you cast Twister with Combat Frenzy active and then go to your Whirling Slash round, you'll get Frenzy charges through Combat Frenzy because Twister is freezing enemies and it was on when you cast it. I know, a little bit odd. But anyway, because of this extra spirit on the Shrine Scepter, we will activate Combat Frenzy and Herald of Ice only on that set of gear. And then with the bonus of Cannibalism being active as well. If you don't have Spirit on one of your pieces of gear, you can simply just... You'll still have to disable Blasphemy until you get Spirit on one of those pieces of gear. Blasphemy is still good to do here, I think. I'm not changing out of that yet. The reason why the fast attacking Spirit is weapon set 1 is because Rigwald's Ferocity enforces it. So I, of course, used to have Whirling Slash and Hollow Palm on the... Whirling Slash on the weapon set 1 and Hollow Palm on weapon set 2, and then all the spear attacks were on weapon set 1. This has resulted in something very unfortunate that is very confusing to a lot of you, and I apologize, there's no way around this, but because of that special lineage gem and its stipulation, we must reverse all of our weapon set points. Now, instead of weapon set 1 being for damage, it is now for speed, and weapon set 2 is for damage with spears. And so, sorry, they've all been redone, but they should look fairly familiar to you. The most noteworthy ones are in red now. Weapon set 1 for speed. Notice Hollow Palm is gone, and any sort of like specialized tech like Frazzled using a Hollow Palm, that's all gone as well. Every ounce of our weapon set 1 points are devoted to speed. Any attack speed, skill speed that we can possibly get our hands on is being taken, because this is where we're getting most of our speed back. You'd be surprised. It didn't take a mountain of currency to do this. It simply took a pretty big respec on our weapons set points. And so, yeah, that's a lot of speed getting into the build that wasn't in there before, and that's the luxury of having a spear on both ends of it. I'll also mention that the gloves are no longer for Leech because we've gotten Ghost Dance in here. I kind of just skimmed over that, but Ghost Dance is now in the build, and it'll be for the defensive buffs need to be for both sets, both set 1 and 2. And so because Ghost Dance is in there, you get over 1,000, at least for me in the gear that I have, over 1,000 energy shield received back when hit. And that's going to be really nice. You're not supposed to get hit all that often anyway, so recharge might have a chance to go in there. These gloves will ultimately be not exactly what you see here, but a deterministic 58% up to 58% increased attack speed gloves, which will result in the character moving actually a lot faster than what you saw in the showcase because I'm not using them yet. The way you get those gloves is, well, there's a video that Belton made about that. I'll link it in the description below. He can be a little hard to listen to with all of his rambling while crafting, but if you want to know exactly how to craft those gloves, there are several divines, and they will definitely be a very strong piece of gear for the build. The reason I'm not going into major detail about that now is because I'm trying to keep it really simple for you guys. I know there are several of you following who may or may not have a lot of currency, and it's with great pleasure to give you a solution, at least a partial solution, a pretty solid solution, in the form of very little extra investment, just a bit of headache in, switching over a few things in here. Well, guys, that about does it. Here's a little bit more of that sweet, fast-moving Whirling Slash action post-bug fix. You can see that the distance between each cast is quite small, but we're still moving along nicely. Hey, silver lining is that it's way more fluid. You get stuck on walls a lot less often. You can actually avoid boss mechanics, and you might actually obey the mechanics on Trialis of Chemist and not get hit by traps all the time when you're not moving psychotically fast. But regardless, we did get most of the speed back, as a matter of fact, and it was thanks to a lot of effort from you guys and me getting on and doing what needed to be done today. It was a long day. I appreciate all the support from you guys. We had actually a great stream today. Really enjoyed how all that went down. And hopefully this gives you some renewed faith in the state of Whirling Slash and how Twister hangs in the balance. I think it's going to be quite alright. Several of you probably already switched to a different build. That's fine. No hard feelings. But you might want to think twice about giving up on good old Whirling Slash. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Hope this video was helpful for you. As helpful for you as it was for me. It was good. It was a good experience to go through. I'll see you guys next time. Look forward to more videos, maybe some farming videos, some new updates. Who knows what's in store. We'll be on the live streams as usual. See you next time.